My name is Vajrashura. So I'm here. I'm going to be hosting the night, and I have the great honor of doing it from Ergian House. So I'm sitting here in Bantu's room. Bantu's chair is here beside me, and we had a sound check here earlier, and I just turned off my camera then to wait. And I've just been looking around me at this wonderful room, almost in the seat that Bantu would have had. And it's wonderful to be here. It feels really right to be hosting it from this room. I've just been looking at Bantu's curios and the pictures of Chetral Sanjay Dorje and the various Buddhas that he has around me, and he's the painting, the Leonardo da Vinci painting behind his head. And it just feels really significant to be here in Bantu's room, actually, to be hosting tonight. And it feels really appropriate to be here in sitting beside where our teacher sat. It just feels really right to be here coming from this place. One of the things we're doing tonight is just hearing from all the men who are going to Guhyaloka this year. And this is the kind of thing Bantu would love. He would love to see you all and introducing yourself before you head off to be ordained. And in a way, I feel I am here with Bantu. This room is so much imbued with Bantu's presence. And maybe we are, in a way, or the men who are going to Guhyaloka are introducing themselves tonight to Bantu, to our teacher, Bantu, who started our whole movement, who started the first ordinations, and who is the reason we're here, really. Who's the reason we're here. So yeah, this is lovely. It's lovely to be here in Bantu's room leading tonight. So what we're going to be doing tonight is we're going to be, the main part, I think, is the main part for me at least, is to hear and to hear from and see all the men who are about to head off to Guhyaloka. So in a few minutes we'll hear from each of them for a minute. We're also going to have a talk from Maitreyabandhu. He's going to be explaining some of the significance of what these men are about to embark upon, or have embarked upon, or are embarking upon as well. We're also going to meet some of the private preceptors, and and then towards the end we're going to have something different as well, just highlighting that we're not the only ones, or these men are not the only ones being ordained as well. And I'll talk a bit about the Tiratnaloka project too. So before we launch into the men introducing themselves, I thought it would be great to introduce the private preceptors meeting then a bit more. So the private preceptors meeting, we've been meeting since last Sunday. We meet every year, and it's a retreat to come together, connect, discuss what it means to be ordained, what it means to be a private preceptor. But really it's about connecting at a deeper level, being inspired ever more deeply by Bantu's vision of the Dharma. And what we've been particularly focusing on this week, as well as meditation, puja, friendship, discussion, has been the 4 tantric rites of fascination, enrichment, destruction, and pacification. So we're halfway through this retreat, and we've been hearing those talks. It's been very, very rich indeed. And it's lovely for us as well then in the middle of our retreat then just to face outwards to the men who will all be ordained hopefully at some point, most of them by the men here on this private preceptors retreat. So I thought it would be good to hear from a few of those, just if they could introduce themselves, just to give a flavor of the great variety of men on this private preceptors meeting. So I'm going to invite them up one by one. So I'm going to start by inviting Sugarba, if he can pop up to the front and introduce himself for a minute.
Thanks, Vajrashura. Hi guys, great to see you. My name is Sugarba. I live in Barcelona in Spain. I've been working there for about 11 years, developing the Buddhist center there along with other people. I first met Triratna in Ireland in 1990, and I've been involved in various projects in the UK. And as I say, about 11 years ago, I moved to Barcelona, and I've been working there with other order members, developing our Sangha there. I think we've got maybe 5 men who've asked for ordination. One guy's been ordained a year or 2 ago, and hopefully a couple more soon. But very, very good to see you all. And good luck on your course, those of you going.
Great, thanks, Sugarba. And I'll invite Shantaka next if he can come up.
Hello, everybody. My name is Shantka, and I'm from Krakow and from Warsaw in Poland. So I've been there for about 15 or 16 years. And previously, I worked for Windhorse, living in Cambridge. And prior to that, I lived in New Zealand in Auckland, where I met the movement and started my Dharma life. So very nice to see you all, and best of luck for those of you who are going to Guhyaloka. I supported the course last spring. Just a fantastic adventure, beautiful place. Yeah. Just really, really happy for you that you're going. So all the best. Thank you.
Thanks, Shantika, that's great. And I'll invite Arthur Mitra down up, if he can come up next.
Hello all, and special hello to Maurice from Holland. I'm from Holland as well, as you can understand. I'm living in Amsterdam, but at the moment I'm in a trial period to maybe go on living in Maitreyabandhu retreat center in the south of Holland. I'm very much looking forward to go to Guhyaloka this summer to ordain Maurice. I've had the experience before, and it was a very meaningful and also very joyful event for me, and I'm sure it's going to be the same this year. So yeah, good to see you all, and see you again sometime, I suppose.
Great. Thanks, Arthur Mitra. That's great. It's wonderful that you're going there as well now soon. And Manju Siha next.
Yep, thank you, Vajrashura. As you said, my name is Manju Siha. I was at Pamaloka for about 18 months on the ordination team, so it's very nice to see some familiar faces from that time. These days I'm back in London, so I live in East London, live close to the LBC. I am on my first private preceptors retreat. It really is a retreat. And my experience of it is, the word that comes to mind, it's been potent. It really has been a potent retreat. So I've been really appreciating my time here. And I'm very much looking forward to being at Guhyaloka to privately ordain Warren this year. So hello to Warren, hello to all of you.
That's great. Thanks, Manju Siha, that's great. And then Maitreyabandhu.
Yeah, hello everyone. So good to see you all the little images. I think it's over 100, fantastic. Special welcome to all the guys from Germany, as I'm from Berlin. Hello. And very good to see Rainer from Essen, especially. I'll be ordaining Rainer this spring. So I'm very much looking forward to being up in the valley again. I do love being at Guhyaloka. I really love those ordination retreats. I think I probably can say that I think they're the best thing we do in Triratna, these ordination retreats. So yeah, very happy to get to know I think 19 of you who are going tonight, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all up in the valley, and yeah, and I wish you all a nice evening.
Great, thanks, Maitreyabandhu, that's great. So I wanted to next invite the men and the team, of course, who are going to run it. So the team for this year's course it'll be led by Maitreyabandhu and Vidyadhaka. And also there will be Dharma Sara and Kshantikara. So Kshantikara, I believe, is on pilgrimage in India. So hopefully he's having a great time and is safe and well. And Dharma Sara, I think, is on solitary at the moment, so they can't be here tonight. And Maitreyabandhu I'll introduce afterwards because he's going to give a talk. But Vidyadhaka, do you want to come up and say hello? Just say who you are.
Yeah, thank you, Vajrashura. My name's Vidyadhaka. Very much looking forward to leading the course along with Maitreyabandhu. I think my main job description for the course is to try and keep control of Maitreyabandhu. I don't know if I'll be able to manage that, but that's what I'm trying to do. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, actually reminds me of my own ordination course and with you, Vajrashura, back in 2007, which was life-changing. And yeah, it's going to be very good. And also, I'm particularly looking forward to ordaining Michael Curtis and Claudio Gui, who are in the screen in London, which is very, very, very positive indeed. So yeah, I wish you all well, and I look forward to seeing you all, those of you who are going this year up in the valley.
Great, thanks Vidyadhaka, that's great. And this year has been an extraordinarily full year on the course. I mean, Maitreyabandhu has been pulling in favors all over the movement and the order to try and get more men on the course. And I think Guhyaloka will be absolutely full to bursting, which is great, which is what we want, isn't it, really? Many people to be ordained. And I just wanted to say that I've been on a couple of these 3 4-month courses in the last few years. One of them was Maitreyabandhu leading them. I was supporting him, and some of my happiest memories at night were listening to Maitreyabandhu's pre-puja talk that he would give every evening throughout the whole course. I'm sure he'll be sharing that now, Vidyadhaka, but some of the happiest memories listening to Dharma sitting at Maitreyabandhu's feet in Guhyaloka. So, I mean, you're in for a real treat. I think you've got such a good team ahead of you. And also, the other memory I wanted to share is that I led the 2021 course with Satyaraja. And some of the most dharmically significant times in that course was a sense of all of us together in a room talking about how the ordinations had gone for us. You know, I think you can't realize it yet because you can't know what it is, but I think the 20 of you with the team that are going to this retreat are going into something extraordinarily special and rich and meaningful, and you'll form connections with each other that will last the rest of this life at least, if not longer. And yeah, it's just lovely. I just feel so happy for you guys, and you're about to embark upon such an adventure. So you have all our blessings as you head into this. So I just wanted to say that I'm overflowing with emotion here, and but what I want to do then is I just want to invite all the men one by one to unmute who are going to the retreat and just introduce who they are. I think Maitreyabandhu has them primed. I'm sure they're going to tell us who their preceptors are as well. So I'm just going to call out their first names. And like, for example, I'm going to start with Brad. Now, if your name is Brad and you're not being invited to Guhyaloka, you're not invited. It's not you that's going to speak at this point, just to say in case there's more than one person with the name. Okay, so let's go to Brad first of all.
Hi, thanks. Yeah, so it's nice to see everybody. My name's Brad. I live in San Francisco, and my private preceptor is Prasada Chitta, who sends his regards. He's not on the retreat. And then we were asked to I think, just say why we're decided to be ordained. So I guess to be really concise, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha are something that's really enriched my life and brought fulfillment, which I guess is an understatement. And I feel that that's what others really truly need. And I think that vision aligns with what the order is about, and that's something I want to absolutely be part of to make that happen. So thank you.
Wonderful, thanks, Brad. That's great. That sounds really good. And then I'll invite Claudio.
Hello. Yeah, so I'm Claudio. I live at the LBC, and I'm being privately ordained by Vidyadhaka, as you just said. And the reason why I asked for ordination was just to continue this thread that came up very, very strongly when I first encountered the Dharma, which was the most significant way to live my life. And it seems like ordination is the right way to go about it.
Great. Thanks for that, Claudio. And we'll go to Curtis next.
Hello, I'm Curtis. I'm at Guhyaloka, where I've lived and worked for the last 2 and almost half years. I'm being privately ordained by Vajra Siddhi. Hello, I think you were there tonight. Triratna basically saved my life in so many ways, and I asked for ordination, but I just wanted to keep exploring as much as I could and kind of give back as much as I can. And I love doing that here at Guhyaloka. I was in Eastbourne before, and I have a few connections to the Brighton Centre. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Curtis. I should say as well that next on the list is Edward, but Edward is actually with Shantikara in India, so he can't actually make it tonight. So we'll go to Greg then next after that. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Greg. I live in London and I'm going to be privately ordained by Maitreyabandhu. I guess I asked for ordination because when I encountered the Dharma, it was just so obviously true to me. And I think from then I've just been trying to orientate my life more and more towards that. And that's always been the right thing to do. And then, yeah, ordination seems like the only thing to do, really. And yeah, just to share my life with the people I'm practicing with and commit to sharing my life with them. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Greg. That's great. And then Jan.
Well, hi, my name is Jan, and I live in London and not far from the LBC. And hopefully this year I'll be ordained by Maitreyabandhu, who's my private preceptor. And my journey with Triratna started in West London. And my first, I think, Buddhist that I knew was a Buddhist was Palita, who's in Berlin right now. So, and then after that, I was also in Canada, so I know Brad. The reason why I asked for ordination was it felt like I was looking after the order members, and that was everything was very real within what they were doing. And just on a different note, that I was supposed to go last year, so it feels a bit of a deja vu, but I didn't go because my parents live in Ukraine, and last year, this month, Russia invaded Ukraine. So, but this year, hopefully I'll be able to go because the situation seems much more stable and they don't need as much as my support as they needed last year. So I'm really looking forward to actually doing it this year. So thank you.
Great, that's great, Jan, thank you. And then Jürgen.
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Jürgen, I'm 58, and at the moment I'm in Bochum, where I live, and it's not far from the center in Essen, to which I belong. My private preceptor will be Amogaratna from Berlin, and Bhante said somewhere that ordination is the core of the whole system of our spiritual life. And that's it. It's a logical consequence of the last years since I first met Buddhism and first entered the door in the Essen Center. So it's a logical step for me. Okay, thank you very much.
Great, thanks, Jürgen. That's great. And then Louis. Do we have Louis?
Yeah, you have, yeah.
Oh, great.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry.
No, that's it.
Yeah, good evening. So I'm speaking from Manchester. Mahashrada is my private preceptor. Reasons to ask for ordination. I'm just kind of nervous of rehearsing an answer. But yeah, essentially, I just want to participate more fully in this vision, the Bodhisattva ideal, helping as many people as we can. Yeah, I think that altruism, that aspect of altruism, and the Avalokiteshvara method is kind of crucial. Yeah.
That's great. Thanks, Louis.
Okay.
So there's two Marcuses. We'll go for Marcus with a C first to stay in alphabetical order.
Hello, I'm Marcus with a C. I'm calling in from Adishtana. I've recently moved here from Stockholm, Sweden, just a couple of weeks ago, and Satyaraja will be my private preceptor. And I guess I have a few things why I see ordination as next step. I think it's deeply meaningful to me. I think it's deeply meaningful because it gives me the best context to grow, and also to help others grow, and also to do something good for the world as a whole. I think it brings a lot of aspects together. I also think it's a bit of an adventure because I don't really know what it is about, and I'm looking forward to that too. Yes.
Yes, great. Thanks, Marcus. And then Marcus with a K.
Yeah, I'm Marcus with a K. Hello. I live in Germany. I'm part of the Essener Center, and I'm almost 53 years old. And I asked for ordination, I think, because I want to deepen my commitment. And as Marcus said before, I think it's the best opportunity to go deeper in my spiritual development. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Marcus. And then Michael back in the LBC again.
Yes, hello. Yeah, Michael, live at the LBC, work here as well, and be ordained by Vidyadharka, as you said. And I guess I want to be ordained to have, well, a vision for life that goes far beyond me, something, I can really put all my energy into, and, to have a purpose for life, and, that goes far beyond, my preferences, and I can do that with other people, which is great. And it's going with friends as well.
Great. Yeah, it's great to see the three of you there. That's great. Great, thanks, Michael. And then to Mike.
Hello, yeah, I'm Mike, currently calling from Alfoxden, Isabetana. Jaya Raja will be my private preceptor. The reason why I asked for ordination was seeing a friend who had 20 ordained and came back changed. He transformed after 25 years of practice. And that just kind of set me on a path, of transformation.
You broke up a little bit there, Mike. Can you say, I heard 20 and then it broke up a little bit. Could you say that again?
Yes. Yeah, so my friend...
Oh, it's breaking up again.
Dear. Hold on.
Tell you what, why don't we come back to you in a minute, Mike? Oh, go ahead again. Go ahead, yeah. We'll come back to Mike at the end, okay? So let's go to Maurice next, and Mike, I'll come back to you if you can hear me, okay?
Okay, yeah, and went off to be ordained.
Good evening. Yes?
Great, go for it, Maurice, yeah.
Yeah, hi. Maurice from Arnhem, the Netherlands, and well, I requested for ordination because I wanted to deepen my going for refuge. And now when ordination is at hand, I still want to go to deepen my going for refuge. But it changed a bit now in the perspective of being ordained, hopefully. There is that urge to bring the Dharma life more into the world, also the social world, I mean. So that grew a bit, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, for now that is enough, I think.
Great, thanks, Maurice. So we'll go through the list, and after Warren, Mike will come back to you again, okay? But thank you, Maurice, that's great. And then Owen.
Hey, yes, thank you. So I'm Owen. I live in the community above the Sheffield Buddhist Centre, and Jan of Archer is my private preceptor. And the main reason I asked for ordination was because of friendship, and I see joining the order as a fruit of, and like a commitment to, a lifelong commitment to those friendships I've made since I first walked through the doors of the centre.
Great, that's lovely to hear. Thanks, Owen. And then Patrick in Adishtana.
Hello. Oh, I can't see anyone. Never mind. Could you switch it? I'd like to see people's faces. There you are. Hello. Yeah, I'm Patrick. I live and work here at Adishtana. I've been here for about 2 years. And I was in Bristol before that, so I asked for ordination in Bristol. I'm 29, or actually turned 30 the morning I arrive in Spain, so that's another thing to get to grips with. Yeah, I asked for ordination because I've been trying to live, I think, a creative life for as long as I can remember. And I think this is the most creative life I could be living. I think it's sort of the only form of creativity that's sort of completely unlimited, and quite a sort of radical life to be living in the order, I think, as well. So yeah, creative life and a radical life. And also, when I asked for ordination, I really didn't know what I was going to sort of do with my life, and I felt confident in the kind of breadth of Bante's vision for what the Dharma life can look like. That it, to some degree at least, it didn't sort of matter which of those like creative or life choices I would make. That practice would always be able to be sort of central in that, whatever road I went down. So I had a confidence in that as well. So yeah, a radical creative life with a huge amount of sort of freedom and potential in it. Yeah. Thanks. Oh, and all being well, Ratnagosha will be my private preceptor.
It's there behind you. Yeah. Great. Thanks, Patrick. And then Rainer, please.
Yeah, hello. I'm Rainer. I'm 32 years old. I'm my private preceptor is going to be Guhyabandhu. I'm going to the Essen Buddhist Center in Germany since 2012. And it's December 2015, I asked for ordination. Yeah, and the Dharma came like a light into my life and when I was in very dark times. Yeah, and I decided to ask for ordination also because I wanted to plant a seed for more radical change and for more wholehearted commitment. And I hope that in future the seeds blossoms into a life with more love and wisdom and joy, and that I can be of benefit for others and myself.
Great, thanks, Rainer. And Stephen, then, please.
Hi, everybody. So my name is Stephen. First came across the Dharma in Leicester, so it's lovely to see a Loban here. And after many years of wandering in the wilderness, I suppose I asked for ordination after being at a great gathering in Parmaloka, where I really had a real heart connection after having years of getting to know the Dharma, a real heart connection with the order, and really felt drawn to just deepening my own spiritual life within that context. And my private preceptor, all being well, will be Vajragupta, who's based in Croydon. So that's me. Lovely to be here. Lovely to see everybody.
Great. Thanks, Stephen. That's great. And we'll go then to Thomas. Is Thomas still there? We'll all just look at Stephen instead. Okay, I'm not sure if Thomas is there. We'll try and come back to him, but is Tim there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi.
I am here. Can you hear
Thomas,
me?
Let's go to Thomas then. Yeah. Sorry, Tim.
I'm back. It's all right. I'm just trying to, because I'm on my phone at the moment. One sec, not actually on the phone while I'm speaking to you. But
okay.
Anyway, my first encounter with the Triratna was at Croydon back in 2006, and I came from a place of pain, coming off a relapse, and for me, it was the only thing that really, I think, started to sort me out. And I think it was more of a need than a want, really. I knew that for me, the game was up. And I just realized that actually the people at Croydon Buddhist Center at the time, it's like, I thought I liked this lot. And it was the only real thing that really started to change me as a person. And I needed changing. And left to my own devices, I wasn't great, so I think, and then I didn't go for a bit, and then I joined the LBC, and I joined a 4-year mitra study with Maitreyabandhu, and he actually had faith in me, and because I didn't have a lot of self-confidence, and that's still growing now, and I think when I asked for ordination, it was originally, I don't know why, it was a heartfelt thing. It was a natural. It just felt right. It's difficult to put into words, but I just thought, no, this is what I need to do. I think this was what I needed to do, more than a want at the time, but then the want comes in later. Yeah, I just knew that. Like someone said earlier, it saved my life. It's saving my life, and well, you know, and it's changing my life, and so it's very heartfelt, and I'm slightly nervous, so I'll stop. And I probably said this already, but my private preceptor is Maitreyabandhu, and thanks. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Tom. That's wonderful. Great, and then over to Tim.
Hello, hi. I'm Tim. I'm 58, and I was born in Melbourne, and I've been with the Sheffield Centre for about 20 years, and I spent a little bit of time at Melbourne Centre for about 5 years in the middle. And my private preceptor is Guhyaloka, who's from Sheffield. There's lots of reasons why I asked for ordination, but I think it was sort of seems to be a sort of natural stage in things, and I've felt like I needed to be my going for refuge needed to be witnessed by someone I really trusted and admired, and Guhyaloka was kindly offered. So looking forward to meeting everybody.
Great, thanks, Tim. And then over to Warren.
Hello, everyone. I'm Warren. I am 56 years old, and I was born in London, and I was born in North London, live in East London, and I went to the London Buddhist Centre 15 years ago, and I've been practicing there ever since then. My private preceptor is Manjusea, and he's just up there in the middle there. It's very, very good to see you, Manjusea. And I asked for ordination because I asked for ordination a few years after I'd first walked into the London Buddhist Centre. And I think I asked for ordination initially because I saw some progress in myself. You know, I just saw myself making progress, and I paid quite close attention. I kind of looked at things ways I used to react and respond to life, and I saw the way that I was starting to respond to life, and I could see a bit of progress there. So that's why I asked for ordination. But I think for the first year or two, I wasn't taking it particularly seriously. In that, I said, well, I mean, something changed a year or two in, really, and I started to just be much more confident, and started to spend more time with Manjusea and other, men here. And anyway, the point is, I really feel as though I can contribute to the order now. I'm not sure what that'll be, but I think I can contribute something to the order, and I think that's why I asked for ordination. And very, very glad to be here.
Good, thanks, Warren. I've no doubt you will. That's great. And then we'll go back to Mike and see if his Wi-Fi is working or his internet is working now.
Hey, is that better?
Yeah, I can hear you well now. Yeah, thanks, Mike.
Great. Yeah, so I'll jump in where I cut out. So it was the reason I asked was seeing people around me transform. I had a friend who'd been practicing for 25 years who got ordained very early on in my Buddhist life, and he came back a changed man, and I think that planted a seed in me. Yeah, and that's why I'm here, just transformation, and I haven't been let down.
And who's your private preceptor? I know who it is.
It's Jai Raja.
Great, good. Yeah. Great, thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay, so lovely to hear from you all. That's great. In a way, it'd be lovely to have even longer to hear from you, but we do have to sleep at some point. But so what we're going to do now is I'm going to hand over to Maitreyabandhu, and who's going to talk, give us a Dharma talk about the significance of what's happening. So without further ado, I think I'll just hand over to you, Maitreyabandhu. So whenever you're ready, you can take it away.
Really lovely to see so many of you. Really lovely, particularly to see the guys. Not the picture of me, please. That's better. Yeah, these awful, great big photographs of yourself. It's terrible. Anyway, really nice to see, particularly the guys that are going off to Guhyaloka. It's really lovely to see you all again. We've already had a Zoom meeting. We're going to have another one. Really lovely to be here with the private preceptors on this private preceptors retreat, which, as somebody was saying, is very, very strong retreat, a very good retreat. So I won't talk for very long. I just want to say it feels right to say something obviously about the significance of ordination. We need to keep holding the significance of ordination up. You could say that ordination is our only sacrament in Triratna. It's our Holy of Holies. I want to go back actually to something that Louis was saying. Louis was saying, I think over there in Manchester, wasn't it, Louis? The altruistic dimension and Avalokiteshvara. So we all know, probably you all know, that Bhante Sangharakshita thinks of the order as the 1,000-armed, 11-headed Avalokiteshvara. And he says that that's what the order is. It's not an image for the order, but that is what the order is. So I thought I'd try and say a little bit about how I understand that, or at least how I understand it at the moment. I think it's a great mystery, but I want to say a little bit about how I understand that at the moment. And I suppose I'm particularly talking, well, I'm talking to us all, the guys going off to Guhyaloka, those of you who haven't been ordained yet, but also you're always talking to yourself, and I'm talking to the other private preceptors and public preceptors here at Adhisthana. So the 1,000-armed, 11-headed Avalokiteshvara, as you all know, he holds to his heart the Chintamani, the wish-fulfilling gem. And I'm just talking today at the private preceptors retreat, and I've been talking very much and thinking a lot, because I'm writing a book with Jan of Archer, and I've been thinking a lot about the transcendence myth that we're all participating in. So how I'm seeing that Chintamani at the moment is when you get ordained and when you are ordained, you're pledging your life to holding on to that jewel. And that jewel is the heart jewel of the Dharma. It's indefinable nature. It's ineffable nature. That no way of talking about the Dharma will ever exhaust it. There's no one way of talking about it. You have to be in touch with the spirit of the Dharma. You know, all of us have heard Bhante's aphorism that the Dharma is caught, not taught. So you have to be in touch with it. And the Dharma is like a jewel. It's deep, mysterious, multifaceted, beautiful. It can never be satisfactorily translated into words. So those guys who are going off to be ordained, you're going off into that mystery, that you're pledging your life to having at your heart this great mystery of the Dharma and the great mystery of the Dharma life. Bhante once said that you always commit yourself to the unknown, which is something I think we need to sort of think of more and more. It's even true when you commit, to anything, you're always committing to the unknown. When you have children, you never know quite what that's going to be like. If you want to become an artist, you never know what that's going to be like. That's even more the case when you commit to ordination. You never really know what it's going to be. So right at the heart of ordination, you're holding on to this jewel, which is the mystery, the ineffable mystery of the Dharma itself, that is beyond words and concepts. It's beyond the physical senses, and it's beyond the rational mind. And we're only in order to the degree to which we're in touch with that. If we lose touch with that, we just become a group, a religious or spiritual group. Yeah. So it's only to the degree that we're in touch with that, the mystery of the Dharma, the ineffable nature of the Dharma, the transcendent nature of the Dharma, transcending time and space, transcending duality and so on. That's our great task in life, and that's a great task. That is the task of our human life. Yeah. So the first thing about getting ordained and staying ordained is having that jewel to our heart, and all of us lose touch with that jewel. It's after all the ineffable, the wordless. It's shunyata. It's the Chintamani, the wish-fulfilling jewel. So it's almost impossible before insight to stay completely in touch with that. But ordination, you're pledging to keep on picking that jewel up again and again and again, in good times and in bad times. Yeah. So right at your heart, right at my heart, we need to all hold that jewel of the mystery of the Dharma, the wordless, transcendent mystery of the Dharma. Without that, we'll become a mere religious or spiritual group. But holding the jewel isn't enough. We need something to do. So obviously you've got this incredible kind of halo of arms reaching out in all directions. It's a very, very beautiful image for what the order is at its most ideal. People who are in touch with something transcendent, something unconfected, something unconditioned, and out of that being in touch, because they're in touch with that, their instinct is to reach out to others. And each of those hands has an implement at the end of the hand. And so that's something, your particular contribution to the order, to the movement, and to the world. You can only make that contribution to the degree to which you're holding the Chintamani. One of the things to think about ordination, I think, and I think it's worth bringing in, is that the period up to your ordination, and all of us here will remember this, and some of you are in the midst of this period, but that period leading up to ordination, in some ways, can be the strongest sense of our transcendent myth. You have a very strong sense in the ordination process, not a very good word for it, but this whole movement towards ordination, of moving towards a goal, of being helped by friends, of taking part in all kinds of supportive conditions. You have a very clear sense of progress, especially as you near ordination and you choose canon mitras and you have a private preceptor and you work together in that way. So if our myth is primarily, it's not only, but primarily a transcendent myth or a self-development myth, you could call it, although I'm uneasy about that language, it comes into its own with particular clarity and pungency in the process of going up to ordination. And that's a great strength because it gives you something to aim for. It also highlights your shortcomings. It highlights things that get in the way. So it's a very important process, that moving towards ordination. But my own sense is that mythos that we're working through, or rather is working through us, changes at the point of ordination. It's quite striking that when people give their life stories, they often can only give their life story up to the ordination. And then it's very difficult to give your life story afterwards. And I think that's because the myth of your life changes at ordination. When you're ordained, it's no longer a life that goes from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. After ordination, all you're doing is becoming more ordained. All you're doing is becoming more and more of a genuine dharmachari or a dharmacharini. That's all you're doing. In a way, your biography changes. It's really striking. When you try and give your life story after ordination, it doesn't usually work because it's not a biography anymore. It's more like I'm still in the ordination kuti and I'm still trying to live out that myth. So I think that the myth changes at ordination, and it becomes, at ordination, it becomes a myth of service. So instead of so much, I mean, it's still a myth of progress, but instead of being so, in a way, dominated by a myth of progress, and that does become, I think, more vivid and particular at ordination. At ordination itself, it needs to turn into a myth of service, and it needs to become a service to the order, to the movement, and to the world. I think ordination only really works for people to the degree to which they can move from a myth of personal development to a myth of serving the Dharma. So those 1,000 arms represent our service. So it's really important that each hand has a different implement. So what is your contribution to the order and the movement of the world going to be? I remember my own private preceptor, Suvadra, my beloved private preceptor, he said to me, do something distinctive within the first 2 years. Do something that wasn't there before. Start a class that wasn't there before. I don't know, do something that you yourself have done to become an arm of Avalokiteshvara. Now, it's easy for this language of arms of Avalokiteshvara to become a bit rhetorical and even a bit fanciful. But my way of understanding it is that you need to serve, and I need to serve the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and think more and more in terms of service after ordination. And one way I've been thinking about that is that you serve other people's developmental myth. You particularly serve those people who who need the Dharma. Millions, everybody needs the Dharma, but we're still comparatively small. We mustn't think that we're a large order. It's very early days for the Triratna Buddhist order. There's everything still to do. So really, I think that service, when you become ordained, is doing for others what hopefully your friends and preceptors have done for you, encourage you into the Dharma, help you understand yourself, help you understand the Dharma, help you work with the forces in your being. Yeah? And you're going to do that yourself. You're going to start that straight away at ordination. Yeah? And then your ordination is activated, is how I put it. Yeah. So that's what I come to think of the 1,000 arms meaning. You've got the jewel which is holding the ineffable Dharma, the Shunyata itself, the Chintamani itself, the greatest mystery. Out of that, you want to serve the world. You want to serve the order and the movement, and you particularly want to help more and more people touch that jewel of the Dharma. But there's one more thing, I think, which is, in a certain sense, a slightly darker thing, which is that you're part of the body of Avalokiteshvara. We very often talk about the head, the 11 heads and the 1,000 arms, and we might talk about the Chintamani at Avalokiteshvara's heart. But we're actually part of this body of Avalokiteshvara. I'm very struck that Bhante doesn't talk about the order as an institution or an ecclesiastical hierarchy. It's not a group of any kind. It's more, if you had to talk about it, you'd say it's more like a body. Yeah, and this is a very traditional thing across all traditions. Often, for instance, the kingdom was imagined in medieval thought. The kingdom was imagined to be a body, and all the people in the kingdom parts of the body. Now, I think this metaphor is peculiarly apposite for ordination, that you become part of the body of the order. So how you behave affects that whole body. And you can make that body a healthier, vigorous body, or you can make it a less healthy and even a poisoned body. And every moment of your behavior as an order member does one or the other. It's very striking, Bhante Sangharakshita had these sort of periods of sort of breakdown of his health, and they nearly always coincided with a turbulence in the body of the order. One of these times where the body of the order has gone through turbulent and difficult times, and Bhante's illnesses always seem to coincide with that. I don't know what to make of that, but I think it's something to do with the fact that we're much more deeply connected to each other than we can imagine. I'm in a very particular place at the moment because my mother recently died, and my mother died on the 27th anniversary of my father's death. And somehow I sort of had this sense that that's what would happen, particularly in the days before. I had a sense even of my father coming to help my mother. My father's got these lovely, great, huge working man's hands, and I had this sense of him pulling my mother out of this life into the next life. But what that might mean, I don't know what any of that means, but it might mean that we're interconnected in ways that we really don't realize, that perhaps time it's somehow folded, that my mother would die on the death of, she had a very happy marriage with my father, but 27 years later. And I think that interconnectedness, I don't like that term very much, but that sense of being in one body is exemplified by being in the order. So your behavior and my behavior now adds to that body or takes away from it. This retreat that we've got here at Adhisthana now adds to that body, the health of that body, or it takes away from the health of that body. And that's a great responsibility to take. It's a great responsibility for me, and it's a great responsibility for all of us here. And we take it very seriously because we're here. We've traveled to be here. People have traveled from other countries to be here. And some of you will be traveling from afar to come to, Brad will be coming all the way from the US to come to Guhyaloka. It's a serious matter becoming part of the body of the order. And I think that might be something that Bhante is saying with us being like the 1,000-armed, 11-headed Avalokiteshvara. is that we're participating in the same body, that our actions now redound on each other in a way that's really amplified. You can do more good as an order member, and I think possibly you can do more harm. Yeah? It redounds more strongly your connections with others because you're part of the same body. So that's what I think the significance of ordination is. At least that's what I think about it this evening. You're holding the ineffable jewel of the Dharma. Because you're in touch with that, and it's something you have to physically touch. It's not an idea, it's not an ideology, it's not a thought, it's not a theory, including a Buddhist theory. It's something you need to be directly in touch with. Because of that, you want to serve the three jewels, and you want to serve the world for its genuine needs. And you're facing up to this difficult and deep issue of becoming part of the body of the order. So I look forward to seeing the 20 of you and the team on the Guhyaloka course. We'll be tuning into each other again, having another Zoom meeting before we do that. And really lovely to see people from so far around the world. Yeah, really, really lovely to see you all. Thank you.
Great. Great. Thank you, Maitreyabandhu. What a wonderful evocation. What a wonderful evocation. Oops. Am I spotlight? I'll spotlight myself. What a wonderful evocation of ordination and connecting with the mystery that's involved. And for me, I think what it evoked is another meaning of the name of Guhyaloka, which, you know, literally is the mysterious secret place, but it is a place that we come in contact with the mystery that is ordination, and then we'll join the body of the order, and that'll all play out afterwards. And you'll probably have heard Maitreyabandhu say that the order is at its best when it's outward facing. And I do believe that if you're to be a happy order member with an activated ordination, we do need some kind of altruistic outlet, for want of a better phrase. And I think Maitreyabandhu has just really encapsulated that.